Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today it's going to be a little bit of 3D printing, plus a little bit of plants, and a little bit of cleaning and firing back up our mister system. I had it shut down for a couple of months because the humidity was so high from the forest fires and that. But over the last couple of days that seems to have broken, so now our humidity is dropping, so we're going to get that up and running again today. So I hope you enjoy, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. The shipment came in early. It was sitting at our door when we woke up this morning. So here's a couple of the upgrades I was talking about. We'll start off with the big one, and that would be the dryer box. So I've opening it up. You got your dryer stuff, extra battery in that for it. So now let's take this thing out. Packaging. Here we are. So now we see the instructions. Power bar. Okay, and that's about it. So what we have to do is put these into the bottom of the container. We'll do that here in a sec. And the battery is for the gauge on the top. Oops, one of the plugs popped out. Now these here and this one here, we can put these little tubes in so we can actually run the filament right out of here. So it can be drying as we're printing. Okay, so forgot a pair of scissors. We'll get this into the bottom so we can get this going. Oh, look at that, and it even had a tear too. Oh, there's two packages in here. That I didn't see. Okay, so we just open up this compartment. These packages are definitely specially designed for this because they just barely fit. Okay. There we go. That'll probably help. There we go. Okay, there's that. So then we don't need those right now. Good heavy duty power cable. Okay, so here's our red filament that we've been running and having issues with. So this should fit right in there, like so, nice and steady. And it's got rollers, so it can turn if you're printing at the same time. And then we just plug it in, and then we just push the button. But we got no power sitting right here. We'll show you that plugged in another spot. So we'll come back to that. Okay, then the other thing was new extruder and motor. So this is a dual gear, so hopefully this will solve some of our other issues. We'll see. For now, I'll put this back in the box. We'll assemble that in a little bit. It's still very early in the morning. And then the one other thing I did not mention is when I changed the hot end, the temperature probe had nowhere. Oh wow, that did not open. What the? There we go. Ziploc did not work. The sensor was a glass one, and it's not really bolted in. So I got a new, well, there's two of them in here. These will fit in the hot end and screw in and hold better. The ones that are in there are just, they were meant for the other hot end, which had a screw holding it. So this should hopefully help. Oh, look at that. It has a connector for easy. So once I run this wire once, I don't have to run it again. If the ever breaks, I can just replace from right here. Oh yeah, very nice. So I only have to run that wire once. Okay. So there's the three upgrades. So we'll see how these do. I'll show you a little bit of the assembly later on when I wake up.
Okay, also it's now plugged in and it's getting there. So it's very quiet.
Yeah. 25, it's going up.
It is.
Now we want to see the temperature go up and the humidity go down.
Yeah.
55 right now is definitely way too high.
Yeah.
56. Okay. But this also takes about 6 hours on average, sometimes longer from what I've read.
It's a good thing we're starting it early in the morning.
Well, it's the same as dehydration of
good,
anything.
Good point.
It's just a dehydrator, but specifically designed for filament.
Well, when we did our research, I did see a lot of people using dehydrators, excuse me, for their filament.
Okay, here we are, everybody. As you can see, I got the new extruder on. It's looking real good, double geared, feels real great. Wire's all nice and neat. I put a new temperature gauge down in here. I didn't bother, I couldn't film it because this was so difficult to work on with a camera, so I'll show you those parts in a little bit. But that's all ready to roll. And then over here is our filament dryer. As you can see, it's at 46.6 degrees, 31% humidity. I would like to have that lower, but it's already ran a couple of times, so don't want to overdo it. Make sure everything's good here. Yeah, everything feels real nice. And there's working. Okay, so now we're going to put it onto the printer and start up a print. Okay, so now that you've seen the time lapse, here's the pot all finished. This one's going to be watertight, so that way it can be in hydroponics. I'm pretty sure it's going to be watertight. We haven't tested it yet, but this is 4 inches by 4 inches by 4 inches high. Got a nice rounded inside bottom, hopefully for easier cleaning. I don't know if you'll see that on the camera, but there's that. This is version 1. We've already made some changes. I haven't printed version 2 yet, but I'm working on it. And then for the top of it, here's the lid. Yet again, version 1. Making a few tweaks. On this side, these are a little on the thin side, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. It's turned out pretty good. Still having a little bit of trouble, not so much with nozzle stringing, but clumping. So I have a couple of ideas. It's quite strong. And then it will fit over top here. Like I said, it's a little tight, but it does clip on quite nice. Now we just need to put in a basket here, fill it up with your hydroponic solution, put the basket in, and there we are. Very basic, very simple hydroponics pot.
Okay, so as you guys see, not much has changed here. We've had a little bit of an off week, feeling a little off all of ourselves, so haven't gotten any replanting done, but our poor lavender, I think it's bit the dust. Over here, trees are doing great still. You can see them. are doing great. Or don't grow very fast, so you're not going to see much there. Borage is doing okay, though. It looks a bit... yeah, looks like some of the stems might be coming up. The anise still has a mind of its own. And then we'll notice that the chamomile, if you notice, is starting to stretch out. So we think it's starting to grow again. And then back there you see the peppers. Those are the bell peppers. Aren't doing too bad. And then you come up front here to the hot peppers. Awesome, awesome. And look at this little guy. He's got the flowers already. There's life. And then over there we've also got a little bit of the buds too. So looks like we're going to have some flowers on those peppers soon. Then over here, the spinach is spinach. It didn't really grow all that big. And then there's the kale plant. We haven't, as you've seen, like we said, we were going to harvest this all and start over, which we haven't had a chance to do. But over here, look at the mint. It's definitely trying. Vining out. No wonder why everybody told me to be careful with the mint, because it's an invasive plant. But there's a quick update on what's going on inside. Let's head outside and show you what's going on outside. Alright, there goes Missy. And now over here, we look at the lettuce. I did pick a couple of the leaves earlier this week because they were going bad. But there it is. I have been using it slightly, but as you see, we're getting big. And we'll have to probably harvest that here soon, I think. Oh yeah, there you go. Look, see, Dill's still trying to do something under there. Not growing very much, but it is trying. And then we will walk over this way, and you can see I did do something this week. Da-da-da-da! I finished putting the peppers in and the daisies. This was only a couple of days ago, so we're hoping that the daisies will come back. They're a little flappy right now, but not too bad. And then the peppers look like they have started to bounce back. This one's doing pretty good. That one's not doing too bad either. This one is the one I was concerned about because it kept flopping around in the pot. So I'm hoping it will bounce back. And the one back there, again, not doing too bad. So there's all the peppers and the daisies.
Okay, today a little bit of a change in plans due to the fact that the humidity has broken outside, even though we're about to get a nasty storm from what we see. Our humidity in here has severely dropped down to 41%, which is a little bit too low for the plants. So today I'm going to clean up the mister system and show you more of the internals. Also talk a little bit about some of the upgrades I'm going to do to that now that I have the 3D printer. Okay, so let's go on over here and we'll see the mister system. Now it's dried out. The tank is all dry, which is perfect, but I need to clean it up. Then we got the misters back here. See, whoa, really need to be cleaned. It hasn't ran in a couple of months, but I've left the fan running to circulate air. So all we got to do, unplug the fan, unplug the two misters and get them cables out of here. Whoop. Actually go that way. So we'll just set that off to the side for the moment. And the fan's just about stopped. There it is. Oh yeah, the fan needs to be cleaned. Okay, for the water tank, just unplug the hose. Now the tank can come out of there and get cleaned. Now for this, we just gotta pop these out. Okay, actually sometimes it's better to pop it off up here. Still working on figuring this all out. Okay, now those are out. And they're fairly clean. The tank is what we need to clean. Okay, that one went in really deep. There we go. So I can pull that out. And that's all nice and clean. So it's just going to be this tank that needs to be cleaned and the floor. Okay. So for And, oh, I'm going to need a side cutters or scissors. There they are.
They went that far.
Okay, so we'll clip this off. Then again, side cutters would be a lot better for this. There we go. I'll do the same with the other side. If you haven't noticed, I got a lot of holes there because I did have it more sealed up. But it wasn't helping a whole lot. There we go. Okay, that's just a tool I use. Some of you might actually know what that is. Okay, so inside here we have the fan. I had to put this shroud on so that way the mist didn't get sucked back in. I'm going to 3D print something new here. Same thing with the holes and everything. I'm going to be 3D printing new items. So that way it looks a little better. Maybe use a different screw so it doesn't rust. But yeah. Okay. While we wait for the parts to soak in some vinegar water and make sure they're nice and clean and sterile to fire the system back up, now we're going to talk about the whole system. Okay, so we're going to actually change the fountain. We're going to reprint it on the 3D printer, make it so we can grow more here. Same with the top of the tank. When I get to it, I'm going to be printing out a whole new screen to sit on top because we're going to change this to hydroponics. Original idea was aquaponics, but it's just too hard to keep fish and everything around. So we're going to change this over to hydroponics. So we got to close off the tank and not let the water see as much light. We're still going to have the fall out the front, and there will be a fall back in there as well. Just not sure exactly how it's going to look just yet, because this is also going to incorporate up here is going to be all hydroponics as well. We're going to print out a channel for the water to flow through, and then it'll come back down into the main tank. It's going to take a little while to get that all set up, but we'll get there. Other than with that, we'll have to redo our panel here because we'll need more pump switches because we'll have 3 pumps instead of just the 1. So this is going to get all changed. We don't need half of what's here anymore. Originally thought we would need it. Turns out we didn't. So it was just overkill. So I'll be removing some of this and changing that up as well in the future. That'll be down the road, probably a couple of months. So we'll see how it goes. Other than that, everything else has been running just fine. Seems to be a good amount of light. So well, we'll get back to the cleaning. See you in a little bit. Okay, here we are, all cleaned up. Now we'll start putting it back together. So what I didn't show you before is the ball valve in here that keeps the water level at the perfect height for these to be as optimal as possible. So this tank hose will goes into here, and then this will keep the water just right. So well, let's get this back together. So pretty simple. We'll just put this back on here so the air will come down and come out, and then it'll send the mist back up through these holes. So that just sits on there. I'm thinking about reprinting a whole new box, a whole new system here. If you would like to see that, let me know. Okay, so now that that's back on, what we'll do is now we got to put, as everybody's called the elevator, we got to put the misters back in the elevator. So it just slots in there. Then the wire just comes up through this little hole, and the misters have a little plug. So then the plug just snugs right in there, and now it's watertight. And the mister can sit in its little channel. Then we'll do the same with the other one. Put the wire up through, and then it'll sit on the other side. And the same thing there, it's got a little rubber plug. There we go. There's that. Now it's clear so we could see the misters going, but I think in the new one, it might just have a little lid. You only need to see it once in a while if it's working. Most of the time you can tell once it's out here. Okay, so now then that just slips right back in here like so. I think I have that backwards, but I don't think it matters too much. Okay, so now we'll get this back over into position over here. Now everybody ignore the outlet. There's no water there, so there's no concerns. Okay, and that can just slide in there and then rehooks up there. Just like so. And then we have these two. Once I make a new connection, these will be cut probably the exact same height. Right now, I just didn't bother because I knew I was probably going to change it later anyway. So I'll just slip that down in here. Like so. Back in there. Back in on the top one. There we go. So then now we'll take the two cables and we'll plug them back in here. And for anybody that doesn't know, that's controlled by the main control panel as well. For anybody new here, it's all the controls for the misters and the fan are up there on the main control panel. Okay, and then we'll plug the fan back in. Fan kicked back on right away because the switch is still on for the other fans across the top. Air is moving. Lift this up. Lots of air movement in there. Okay, now we'll bring this tank back around and slips under here. Just like so. And then the hose will plug back in just under here. Like so. There we go. Actually, I want the hose to go around the leg. Keep it tighter and out of the daylight. Okay, there we go. Hose is hooked back up. We're good to go. Okay, now we just got to fill it up with water and we'll show you it back up and running. Okay, here we are. We got it up and running. As you can see, the plop's in there. It's hard to tell, but that's how we know it's running because you can just barely see the drops. Tank's filling up really nicely. It's all running pretty good. I only filled the tank halfway at the moment, but I'll be finishing that off here soon. And we got to put a cover on it. Yeah, it was a little dirtier than I would like to have seen. Other than that, the whole system is up and running. So if you look down the side here, you should be able to see it. Oh yeah, I can definitely see it. Look at all that nice mist going over the plants. There will be some down here too. A little bit harder to see actually, but it's down there as well. So there we are. Look at all of that mist. That should help bring our humidity right back up. So I'll probably be making a new tank down here because yeah, this one, it works, but now that I got the printer, I think I can do better.
So there you have it, everybody. Our quick little update on not only our plants and the 3D printing and our mister system. It's so nice to have it back up and running, and I can't believe how much we've actually missed it. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye!